Hey everyone, so I've been using Rogers 5G home internet for a while, and recently I swapped out my Nokia FastMile 5G gateway for a Vantiva Cobra 5G Xtream. Since I've had the chance to use both, I figured it'd be fun to do a quick review of these devices and share my experience with Rogers 5G service overall. So let's talk about the differences between the Nokia and the Vantiva. Right off the bat, they look nothing alike. The Nokia is smaller and more portable, but it only has a couple of Ethernet ports. The Vantiva, on the other hand, offers more Ethernet ports and apparently a newer version of 5G tech. It also has 8 antennas built in, which should help with better coverage and stability. It's interesting to notice that Rogers taped out the foam port on the Vantiva device. I personally think Vantiva's design is great if you need a narrow footprint, like placing it right by a window to get that sweet spot for signal strength. Now, as for setup, each Geese device came with a quick start guide, but the Nokia was super quick. I got it up and running in under 10 minutes, and everything was done through its app. With Vantiva, there was some guesswork involved. It took me 20 to 30 minutes just to figure out which app to download. Turns out it's called Navigate Companion in the App Store, even though Rogers' online guide called it Vantiva Navigate. One important thing, be patient during the initial startup because it takes about 7 minutes for the Vantiva to link to Rogers 5G. You don't really have to do anything, just wait. It took me a few tries to get the app connected, but once it was set up, it was good to go. So yeah, not hard, just a bit more patience needed. In terms of speed, let's test the Nokia device. Now this is the speed test for Vantiva device. As you can see, Vantiva has slightly better upload speed than Nokia. They're both capped by Rogers at 100 megabits per second down, 10 megabits per second up, so there wasn't a huge difference on paper. But in my real-world usage, like downloading large files or sitting through video calls, the Vantiva seemed a bit more stable and less prone to big drops, especially in bad weather. The Nokia often started off strong but would randomly slow down, and sometimes I'd see my Teams video freeze or my YouTube quality drop all of a sudden. The Nokia also seemed more sensitive to bad weather. Heavy snow or rain noticeably slowed it down. I know Rogers is throttling video streaming to 2 megabits per second, and there's a way to work around. I will get to it later in the video. A lot of people in rural areas consider Starlink, which can go around 200 plus Mbps, but it costs about $140/month with no data cap. Meanwhile, Rogers 5G home internet is $60/month with a 500 GB data cap and a 100 megabits per second download limit, plus the infamous 2 megabits per second throttle on video streaming. That throttle means watching YouTube above 720p can be a pain. My workaround has been using a VPN, and that definitely helps me watch videos in full 4K without buffering. Let me show you here. This is one of my YouTube video. If I switch to 4K resolution, the downloading speed dropped and video can't even load properly. Now let's connect to VPN instead. As you can see, the downloading speed is back to normal. Now let's try to watch another 4K YouTube video on my Safari browser. It plays smoothly under VPN. Let's disconnect the VPN now. As you can see, it's hard to play the video smoothly. All in all, both devices get the job done, but I'm leaning toward Vantiva for its sturdier signal and more stable performance, especially if you're in an area with borderline coverage like me. If you're just looking for a simpler setup and don't mind fewer ports, the Nokia might still be a perfectly fine option. In my experience, the Nokia FastMile 5G is decent, but the Vantiva Cobra 5G Xtream feels more robust and delivers a steadier connection day to day. If you're deciding which device to pick, ask yourself if you need that extra stability, the extra Ethernet ports, or if you want a smaller unit for convenience. As for Rogers' 5G service in general, it's great if you can live with the 100 megabits per second speed limit and you're comfortable using a VPN to bypass video throttling. Otherwise, Starlink might be worth the higher price if you need unlimited data and faster speeds.